to state that are not the original state. And the campaign, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was in Ekiti yesterday. Ekiti is an APC state.
Yes.
We have seen the APC campaigning in Osun today, which is now a PDP state.
Yes.
And ditto, the former Vice President has also been in Lagos, which is the base of the APC. And the president, the candidate of the APC has also been to some PDP states in the north. And even in the south side, the southeast where we say pop would destroy Nigeria every day, they went there to campaign. They no going away. They were there. They know each other have been campaign. Everyone did not fall. So most of those things we see, we just raise alarm and draw so much attention. So it's not media escalation for me. It is not as much as the president said it, but the media has escalated it. I don't think that there is any serious thing to be worried about ahead of the election.
Thank you. Now let me come back to Wale Adewumi. Now, INEC, the federal government has given its commitment to the success of the election. The INEC too came out, in spite of the earlier controversy that maybe election will hold or it will not hold. INEC came out boldly and told us that it's committed to holding the election.
Yes.
Now, why should there be apprehension? Why should the former president entertain worry when the bodies concerned about the conduct of election have come out to tell us that the election will hold?
It's what made me say what I said at the opening. The language that is used here, I hope that Mr. President Jonathan used the word loosely or just like that. He said, I am worried. He didn't say I'm concerned. He didn't say I have doubts or anything. He said, I am worried, which is a specific language. You're worried over something because you know some things may not be in place, some things may not be what they should be, or some things may not be working the way we expected. So that is what makes it carry weight. That word worried. And I said, I hope he used it as a normal, regular word, worry. But if he now says specifically he's worried, I'm hoping, but I'm interpreting that as saying that he knows, like we have been saying since, he knows he has information to intelligence report, he has information to even what the parties are doing, both parties and all the parties, by the way. So maybe he sees something that gives him concern and he's worried. So that is my own thing, that word worried is what is a power word in that sentence.
All right, thank you. I didn't need to. Now, you see, former President Jonathan is not directly involved in the process of the election. He's entertaining worry. But those who are really concerned have given us their words, saying that the election will hold. Is there cause for anybody to still be worried over the 2023 elections?
Well, like I said, I don't also want to contradict myself because I've said that personally for me, most of the things that could be responsible for such worry may not worth it in the long run. But the former president has cause to be worried for certain things because, number one, let me take it from this premise. He conducted an election where he voluntarily, for the first time in history of Nigeria, relinquished power. Before even the end of the election, the president had congratulated the opposition for winning the election. That is a human job. That was legendary. And that had not been recorded in Africa anywhere. So such a man coming from that premise, he might affect that, look, given what we had passed through, I thought there should be an advancement in our electoral process, that we shouldn't hear some of these things while we're hearing in the quest for power in 2023 election. But of course, for me, that is also sounding too idealistic. It is not realistic. A realistic assessment of power anywhere in the world, we know that power will not just come like they do it in church. That somebody knows that the next man to become the bishop. Even in becoming the bishop too, in becoming the mosque, you know what happened to become a man in some places today now? You know what has happened now in the house of God. So not to talk of a secular struggle for power. So President Jonathan is just trying to be more religious, more Catholic than Pope, more being church in his perception, to say that he's worried. For me, why? Now, Then on the other hand, the president of Nigeria and the electoral umpire.
Okay.
You don't expect the husband, you as the father of the house, you cannot come back home to say, it is bad though, this house may collapse.
Exactly.
You know now, even if the house is collapsing, you tell your children that all is well now. Don't worry, we are fixing it. All will be well. That is the role of leadership. So we expect that the president of Nigeria, who is in charge, who is the commander-in-chief of armed forces, in charge of all the forces, both the terrestrial and every forces, he has to continue to assure Nigeria that all will be well. The electoral umpire too, if he says all is not well, he should resign and go.
Exactly.
So why will that next chairman tell us that he's afraid of things? He only resign and allow somebody who is competent to come and do it. So we expect that INEC will also say that based on our beavers, on all this, on all that, after all, the same man has conducted one election. So this is the second national election we're conducting. He has also conducted a series of elections that have succeeded. So there is no cause for him to now come and say that I am worried. Even the new beavers that was introduced was used in Ekiti, was used in Oshundo, that of Osun state function. If it's not an issue of litigation, so I don't want to comment that, not to be prejudicial, I mean subjudicial. Now, but the truth of the matter is that the machine has been used in 2 places after the amendment of the electoral law 2022. So what would be the worry if it had failed in Ekiti, failed in Osun? Now that would be worried that our beavers had failed. But the beavers has not failed in those places. So there is no point to be worried. So what the two of them, the president and INEC chairman, has said is to assure Nigeria that all will be well. Then what President Jonathan had said also is what is expected of a statesman who has just left the system and who feel that we should have found an improvement over what we are. That's why someone like President Obasanjo, former President Obasanjo, is also always very concerned because he felt that look, no, certain individuals should not be contesting again at this point. We should have advanced, we should have seen better. These people should not be, it should be this. That's the passion. So in the same vein that former President Jonathan is talking about, look, we should have left this space. We should be here and there. But the truth of the matter is that let us don't be too emotional. Even in the struggle for Obaship. Not now, even before the advancement of constitutional monarchy like we have today, pre-colonial, people struggle for Oba. We heard that somebody was poisoned and somebody took over. We heard that somebody was dethroned and somebody came in. We heard of conspiracy against Oba. So these are things that happen in struggle for power. So they are natural.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Let's move to the second topic of our discussion for today. Emefiele, DSS running battle as CBN governor resumes.
Well,
what's your take on this running battle between Emefiele and DSS?
I would like to say that the CBN governor Godwin Emefiele lent credence to the speculations that has been swirling around him by staying away from Nigeria for this 1 month. He went with the president to a conference and did not return with the president. And so that 1 month, I think, intervening period has given the press, the people, everybody concerned a reason to speculate that there must be something. And then the DSS filing or accusing him or maybe charging him with money laundering, financing terrorism. That is the weightiest of all the charges that they bring against him. If that statement is from the DSS, that the governor of the central bank is financing terrorism in whichever way, in whichever form, that is a very weighty accusation. And he stayed away and give us reason to wonder and to speculate whether those things are correct or not. And now he's back. They said that his home was besieged, but the DSS, the Nigerian police, said no, they did not besiege his home. Right now, we are still left to speculate. He has not said anything, referenced this, since he himself came back, I think on Monday, or what day did he land in Abuja? He has not said anything about it, and so he is giving us more reason to speculate. That's my observation and opinion.
All right, thank you. Adenitan, Emefiele DSS running battle as the CBN governor resumes. What is your take on this seeming controversy between the Emefiele and DSS?
It's a news that can be seen from a very, very complex perspectives. Number one perspective is to talk about independent of democratic institutions.
Okay.
Number two perspective is to talk about the abnormality of Nigerian institutions of the Nigerian system. And also the number three okay, let me premise it on those two major perspectives. The first one, I said independent of democratic institutions. We can say that the CBN is an institution on its own. It's only responsible to the presidency and of course the National Assembly, which has power by provision of Section 100 of the Constitution to investigate any agency over which it has power to make law. So you can say that the Central Bank of Nigeria is responsible to the President of the National Assembly, but not responsible to them in that way because it's in its class of its own. It's the banker's banker. It's the Bank of Nigeria. It's the face of Nigeria. It is the direct image of Nigerian finance and the Nigerian economy. So the international community see the Nigerian Central Bank and its leadership before they see the politics and the other people of Nigeria. So and the DSS too operate directly under the presidency, as they also have a responsibility or a duty to investigate issues and to also surrender to the court or to the Attorney General for prosecution of such matters. So the two of them could have been doing their work, their constitutional duty, and nobody will be worried that they are doing what they should do. Now, the one that calls for worry, which is also now reflecting the Nigerian system, is this. What the DSS and the Central Bank governor, what both of them are doing, the controversy between the two of them, is only not an issue for them. It's an issue affecting the image of Nigeria in the estimation of reasonable international financial friends of Nigeria. For example, any businessman, any foreigner doing business in Nigeria, is the first thing he evaluates is the strength of Nigeria, is the fiscal policy, fiscal independence, and fiscal discipline of the Nigerian economy, of the Nigerian economy, which is reflective in the management of the CBN. So if first of all look at the CBN as okay, the CBN is in a good shape, in a good hand, we can trust this country, then we can do business, let's take our money there. But now if you now see in a serious country, there is no serious country whose DSS or secret police will investigate its own Central Bank governor and expose and leak the investigation result to the public. It's also shown that we are irresponsible as a people with respect to all of them who are involved. The DSS is responsible to the president. The president has the power to also deal with the CBN governor. If the DPN government is seriously and sincerely financing terrorism and money laundering, this report should be given to the president of Nigeria, who will ask the CBN governor to explain. He will not even tell Nigeria that for this, he say for grievous offences that have been identified against you, he will give him a query to respond in 24 hours. He will refer it to the agency of government that has been so aperture. If need be, he will resign or he will be sacked. And this thing in Nigeria, that will not, that will protect the image of Nigerian economy from an outsider in Nigeria. If the CBN government is financing terrorism, do you know what that means? The greatest problem confronting the global world today is terrorism. And in fact, strong countries have risen against countries because of terrorism. The US led war against Libya because of terrorism financing, against Iraq, against Iran because of terrorism financing, and Iraq. And Afghanistan. So if you now say the CBN government, if we, our own people, are saying our CBN government is financing terrorism, do you know the implication of that statement? That is too heavy, that is too heavy, that is too insensitive from our security people. And of course, that's what we do in a society of people who are not organized and serious. We talk from the two sides of man, and that's the way our security agencies do. They take you to media court before they find evidence against you. When they now take you to court, they don't have anything to prosecute you, then the court will dismiss the matter. And everybody will still now become helpless. So that is exactly what they have shown. So in this matter, for me, and now finally for me, it's also shown that the president of Nigeria does not seem to be much concerned about what is going on. Forget independence, forget all this theory, and that we talk in political science. When you see the president of Nigeria is the number one person, is the one who all Nigerians have given as considered their faith in. We voted for, we didn't vote for CBN governor. So it's because of our vote, he is supposed to call in the CBN governor, the DSS. the DSS is directly responsible to the president. Before this matter escalated to the matter in the press, what was the presidency doing? Who called you to order? Why has the presidency not called the DSS that come? What is the meaning of the, what is this? If truly, why did the president not give the CBN governor order to resign? He still travel with him. He didn't come back with him. That's no big deal. Maybe he has excuse to stay and there. Those are the you. And finally, for me on that matter, from your question, is that Nigeria is a funny place. See, a lot of things happen in Nigeria that what we read in the newspaper and we hear on the radio and television is not the reality of what is happening. Power struggle in Nigeria takes very diabolical and very satanic dimensions. For example, you'll be shocked that at the end of the whole investigation, what they are gaming at is to get out this man from the CBN.
Yes.
Yeah. You recall that they started, I wanted to contest for presidency. How can somebody be CBN governor and want to be president of Nigeria? What for what? You are the president of Nigeria and CBN governor, automatically you are in charge of our foreign currency, foreign exchange, economy, anything. You decide the exchange rate, you decide what happens, you decide even whether the president can have money to spend.
Yeah.
So you now decide that genuine appointment without any trouble and now say you want to be president of Nigeria. And even if you would do that, you cannot be in the office or as governor of Central Bank and be campaigning to be president of Nigeria.
You must at least resign.
Yes, they pasted his poster all over the place. They bought vehicle and branded those vehicles in his name. Somebody asked my friend, I said, no, he couldn't have been know of this. In a case I knew at the time that they pasted a picture of Alpha Babala that Baba wanted to contest as governor. When Baba saw the picture, he wept. He said, me, at my level, I was given ministerial position in Nigeria. Many times I rejected this, so I will now come at this age to come and contest as governor.
All right.
But people they have a way to rubbish you in Nigeria.
Yes.
So that could be what is happening today could still be the orchestration of certain individual forces who want to ensure that this man must leave.
All right. Thank you. But let's look at it this way. In the history of Nigeria, no CBN governor has been so controversial as the present CBN governor. Now, aside from that, Adedeto said something that maybe some people were campaigning on his behalf. But the man did not deny, at the initial stage, he did not deny that he was not interested in becoming the president of Nigeria. Why should the man immerse himself in controversy?
In Nigeria, anything goes. At least, let me say it this way, almost anything goes in Nigeria. The way that people have carried out themselves in their offices, the way they have conducted themselves even out when they are not in the official duty, it shows that some people operate with impunity. Nothing will happen to me. I can do whatever I want to do. And that will be my opinion or observation of that election scenario, primary election rather, where they paid 100 million. If somebody paid it on his behalf, Mr. Emefiele never denied or rejected or what is that called? Never denied them.